Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We are zooming in and focusing in on a very important and wonderful topic today. And before we really dive in, I want to give a huge shout out to a wonderful viewer we have in the Calumet, Louisiana area. I believe that's a southern part of the United States in Louisiana. A southern state, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but he sent me in a lovely piece of writing, which I'm going to review here with you and kind of focus in some of my interpretation. And I want to thank you so much for your wonderful donation to the Peace and Harmony channel. It does help keep this channel, this content alive, and to keep new and fresh content being produced here for you. And thank you so much for your contribution and your input, your comments, your perspective, sharing your story, your experience, because it's very insightful, and you're connecting to a whole YouTube village of people who also need to connect and hear your message and hear your story, and really to kind of transcend and rise above and really keep things in perspective and keep things fresh and alive and vibrant for you in your life. So thank you so much for your insight, your contribution, your donation, and the story here. And I'm going to review, he put a note in with his donation, and it's stating, making a difference. Once upon a time, there was an old man who used to go to the ocean to do his writing. He had a habit of walking on the beach every morning before he began his work. And early one morning, he was walking along the shore after a big storm had passed, and he found the vast beach littered with starfish as far as the eye could see, and stretching in both directions. Off in the distance, the old man noticed a small boy approaching. And as the boy walked, he paused every so often as he grew closer. The man could see that he was occasionally bending down to pick up an object and throw it into the sea. The boy came closer still, and the man called out, "Good morning. May I ask, what is that you are doing?" The young boy paused, looked up, and replied, "I'm throwing starfish into the ocean. The tide has washed them onto the beach, and they couldn't return to the sea by themselves," the youth replied. "And when the sun gets high, they will die unless I throw them back into the water." The old man replied, "But there must be tens of thousands of starfish on this beach. I'm afraid you won't really be able to make a difference." The boy bent down, picked up yet another starfish, and threw it as far as he could into the ocean. Then he turned, smiled, and said, "It made a difference to that one," and adapted from The Star Thrower by Lauren Easley, 1907 to 1977. And that is a wonderful story. And that is just a little bit of a interesting story and an anecdote that I want to share with you, because as this viewer passed this along, I see a specific insight into that story. And his intention was, hopefully to share that with me, and, to let me know that, that we're making a difference here on this channel. And that is so very, very important here. And it's very meaningful to me. But I want you to take something from the story with a really a little bit of a different insight. As someone who has studied English and psychology, I really see this anecdote, this story, as really the impact of the narcissist, the impact of a psychopath, someone who has emotionally manipulated you for their own ends, for their own means. And when they do this, they really do take you out of your element. See, that is how they are able to control and get you powerless. Very much like the starfish in this story, who is washed out of their element. The starfish belongs in the ocean. That is their element. You've heard, I feel like a fish in water. I feel so happy. I'm in my element. I can breathe. I can live. I can move along freely. I can get the food that I need. The fish is, but a fish out of water has been cast out of water. A starfish who has been, washed ashore by a great tidal wave and is, out of their element. They're on the beach. They can't really obtain the fluidity that they need, the nutrition that they need to be back in that water. Like the boy who's throwing it back into their element because he knew that that's where they belonged. Really, that is very much like what you need to do in your life. And that's very much like a narcissist. See, they control you, and a psychopath will control you by trying to get you out of your element, get you out of your groove, get you out of your true spiritual center, get you out of your element, get you out of your true perspective, and get you out of your truth, which is where they try to distort your perception, keep you very fear-based, keep you very paranoid, giving you pathological lies, feeding you the wrong message. They're taking you out of your element. They're trying to, knock you out of your element and shore you. They're trying to keep you at the shore where you really belong, in the ocean, and free and in your element, where you belong, where you're happy, where you're meant to be, and meant to be on your life purpose, your life path. They will control you through using fear, through paranoia, through negative messages. Look, you provoked this person. Look here, you didn't do this right. Shame on you. Look at you. You didn't take care of this, or you were this way to so-and-so. You're such a bad boy. You're such a bad girl. And then, then comes the slaps. There comes the looks. There comes the punishment. There comes the wrong messages. And oftentimes, these are on an impression on a youth, on an individual earlier in their life, their formative years. So they really begin to kind of grow a callus around these negative messages, which is like a hurt, which is a thought pattern, which is an energy pattern, which is part of the function of the brain, is the mind itself, the neurological patterns, which are then fear-based, which is a chemical, which then resonates through the sympathetic nervous system and back into the body. So really, the body then develops these patterns and neural pathways which are degenerative in nature, which are really how your body is not meant to function. Your body is thrown out of balance. And it is very important to understand that as I look at this story and interpret it, realize that the narcissist will try to break you down and weaken you. They'll try to prey on your weaknesses. They'll try to prey on your vulnerabilities. They'll try to sneak through. They'll try to get under the door, through the cracks in the window of your soul, really of your mind. And they'll try to find those little crevices and really sort of try to blow out your weaknesses and make you feel vulnerable, make you feel paranoid, make you feel scared. The PTSD symptoms that you feel, where the social anxiety, it's difficult for me to talk to people, look at them in the eyes without feeling afraid. Guess what? The psychopath and the narcissist are very weak because they prey on the vulnerable. Think of it like this: if you were to go into what are we calling it, like an old folks home, or someone like a nursing home, or someone who's rehabbing from surgery, and they're vulnerable, they're weak, they need TLC, they need some tender love and care, they need some compassion, they need someone to slow down, to be with them, to help them walk again, or to help them recover from their surgery, tend to their wounds, make sure that they are on the mend, and make sure that they're on healing, and that they're strong enough and then ready to leave. So that's really the vulnerable. And very much oftentimes that is how people are in their spiritual and emotional nature. They have an empathy, a sensitivity, a soft spot. And that is how the narcissist and the psychopath do. They take advantage of people's vulnerabilities, which is their emotions, which is their sense of self. And they're able to control and manipulate through the negative messages, through neglect, through withdrawing of care, through withdrawing of attention, through withdrawing of that smile, like that little boy who's, navigating for himself. He knew what made a difference to that starfish, and he was like that higher self that's throwing that starfish. The starfish is really like a thought. And if you can think of the starfish in this story like a thought, a positive thought, put yourself back into your own element. You need to take power back into your own hands, like that little boy in this story who is, shrugging off, this old man who's like, you're not making a difference. That's the voice of the narcissist. That's the voice of the psychopath. You're not making a difference. You're not good enough. You don't know what you're doing. All the negative messages, the negative look, that they come just, intercepting you on your path. As I talk about, your healing journey is like a life intercepted. that old man is like the narcissist or psychopath, the negative voice that's always trying to seem like they're above you, the older man, but they're really not. That's just their persona. That's really just sort of the way that they appear. That's their facade. That they are more mature. They're more knowing than you. Yet it's the boy. It's the id. It's the playful, innocent, attuned spirit in this story, which does know what is right, that does know what is best, that does know what makes a difference. They do know what that starfish needs. It is that innocent part of yourself, that playful part of yourself that interacts directly with life, that takes the walk along the stroll, that wades in the water, that feels the tingle of waves, of the healing waves that laps and have that soothing rhythm across your body, and you feel the massage of the sand between your toes. It's like a million little rocks that are massaging your toes, and feeling that the repetition of the waves and soothing you, and seeing the life that is inherent within that is undisturbed. That is what that boy is doing, and that really, I feel, is a starfish is like the positive thought, which you need to make a difference within your own life now. So really, the health is in your hands. The wellness, the happiness is in your hands. Each time you start to feel that negative impact of that old man, that grumpy man that's walking on the beach, the narcissist or the psychopath embodied, who's trying to tell you you're not making a difference, you don't know what you're doing, you're ugly, you're unhealthy, what's wrong with you, you don't have a right to speak up about this, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't have an opinion, you don't have a perspective. All those negative messages which you are implanted, just let that go, let that walk on by, and then be like that boy who's throwing the starfish back in. Put that positive thought back into your mind, and let it resonate, and let it make a difference in your life, and get yourself back into your own element, which is oftentimes where you're really meant to be in life. Whether it's giving a smile, whether it's taking a walk and appreciating nature, your life is making a difference just by you being in your element. You don't have to do a lot. You don't have to, think that you have to live life according to the narcissist terms. Once you're in your element, you are naturally, by God's law and by natural law and universal law, you're making a difference. It's rippling out. Once you stay in your element, you're going to begin to see life unfold. You're going to have those positive thoughts, those positive feelings. You're going to be able to look ahead in life. You're going to be back in your element, and really that is where you're able to look forward and then cause a future of happiness in the life that you're meant to live moving forward, rather than being stuck on the shore, basically shored out of your element, which is in the past. Look forward, get back into your element, and make that difference in your life, because little by little, each thought that you get back into your element of happiness, peace, harmony, even if it's just contentment, that is where your life is meant to vibrate. That's where your emotion is meant to be. And those thoughts will then begin to naturally occur, which is the real you. And that's where the security begins to come, that vibrancy, that life force, a little bit more of that energy where you feel better. And the regenerative emotions start to go back into your body. You can even start to just feel like your body is working and functioning, versus the degenerative, fear-based negative messages, which are oftentimes thrust into your world by a narcissist or a psychopath, someone who is trying to manipulate and take control of those people just to get attention onto them, versus really being in your element, the life that you're meant to live. They for some reason take an inherently an inherent power, an inherent pleasure that's really destructive, a very sadistic pleasure from trying to overwhelm others through the negative thoughts. They try to overpower people through their destruction and their emotional manipulation, oftentimes through that negativity. So keep yourself in your element. Be like that boy, and even with each thought, each starfish, throw it back. get back in your element and really continue. And if it takes a little bit of effort, know that you're doing the right thing and that it's going to have lifelong positive ripple effect for you moving forward. It's peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.